This is Ruger Security 380 versus Ruger LCP Max, a comparison. At the recent SHOT Show, we saw some love given to the 380 ACP cartridge and a few different new firearms like the Beretta 80X and Rock Island Lightning 380. Hopefully in the near future, we get to add those to our ever-growing 380 comparison series. Until those two firearms become more readily available, one natural question many people will have, given the popularity and volume of the Ruger LCP model of firearms produced the past few years, is how does the new Ruger Security 380 stack up against this now long-standing family of firearms? Today we will try and examine that question, and we will be using the LCP Max to represent that LCP family of firearms against our new Security 380. And now, let's hit the range. Alright, we are back at beautiful band range for a change. To start out the day today, I have set up, I've left my gloves off so we can start with the cold hand effect, simulating you had to use this defensive firearm out of the blue with no preparation. The best we can come up with at the public range. We have SIG. I guess I threw the box away. I think they call it their defense performance ammo. I got a picture of it. We'll superimpose it in the post. We're going to do 10 shots with the LCP Max. Then we'll switch to the Security 380 10 shots. I'm going to do the LCP Max in the bottom right hand target. We'll do 3 shots two-handed, 4 shots right-handed, 4 shots left-handed. And maybe, yeah, that sounds good. Here we go. Well, I guess 3 shots. My math's terrible. Alright. I think we have 6 of 10 on the paper. And actually better than I thought we would do with not having fired that gun in forever. Let's do the secure. Ooh, we put 1 hit on the Security 80 target. Oops. Here we go. We'll do 4 shots two-handed, 3 shots, 3 shots. Here we go. Ooh. That's cold hands. Hand got stuck. Okay. We interrupt this first range video segment of today's video with an encore to the intro. As I said a moment ago, I went out of my way this morning trying to bring on the cold hands effect for the first magazines fired in today's video. No, that is not to try and create our own version of some weird cord bore shot. It was more to try to simulate best we can at a public range the idea that it is unlikely, if you ever have to use your defensive firearm, that you will be under ideal conditions. In this case, the conditions we had are cold weather where you have no gloves on for one reason or another. And now let's get back to that first range video. Now that we got the cold hands defensive initial test out the way, let's do 2 magazines through each firearm using some range ammo just to get this sort of a reliability baseline, we'll say here. I'm again going to shoot at the bottom right hand target. With one of the magazines on my LCP Max, you may see at times doesn't do the hold open on empty. That's the original magazine before they fixed it. So don't freak out if you see that. Here we go. Bottom right target. As we see with our range ammo, low left compared to pretty centered with our defense ammo. Okay, we're going to do 10 more. This time I will do 5 left-handed, we'll transition, and then do 5 right-handed. Okay, here we go. I lost count of count because, well, that first one that zinged my wrist for sure. Alright. We're going to do the same thing now with Security 380. We have 5 extra shots in a magazine. That's just the advantage of 15 round mags. Here we go.
They usually don't have people to come out with them. Sometimes it gets boring.
Now this is Blazer. I always call it CCI. It's actually Blazer. Here we go. Pretty well. I should put some hits on that target. 5 left. Looking at our first set of targets here, LCP target on the right, Security 380 target on the left. My trend of shooting the LCP Max low and to the left we see continues, especially when I'm out of practice with it. On first glance, our target with the Security 380 looks much better, and it probably is much better if we're being honest. But if we're keeping things in the context of the firearm, I think our LCP Max target at 7 yards with a pocket pistol, we're going to call good enough. Moving on. While we have done first range reports on both firearms in the past, we're going to revisit some of the numbers quickly for our newer viewers. The Ruger Security 380 is 6.52 inches long, 1.02 inches wide, 4.35 inches high, and weighs in at 19.7 ounces. The Ruger LCP Max is 5.17 inches long, 4.12 inches high, 0.924 inches wide, and weighs in at 10.6 ounces. Both firearms have the glass-packed nylon frame with the alloy steel slide and barrel. They also have the Ruger Secure Action trigger. To me, in many ways, even though the Ruger LCP Max is an older 380 than the Security 380, it feels like a scaled down version of it. The same trigger, that Secure Action trigger, for me on both firearms is between 5 and 5.5 pounds. The same style and layout of grip texture on the grip, the same trigger guard. They both have very similar style front and rear slide serrations, and both have, while not the same, similar style replaceable front and rear sights, which I'm a big fan of on any firearm, especially a pocket carry firearm like this Ruger LCP Max happens to be. Moving to some comparison shots, you can see with the LCP Max being in the pocket carry class, it's quite a bit smaller all the way around than the Security 380 is, being in the compact, not to be confused with micro compact double stack, just the compact class of firearms. Here's a close-up of the difference in grip length without a magazine between those two firearms. It was a little hard to see that in the previous picture, in my opinion, so here's a close-up of that. And here you can see the Security 380 on top of the LCP Max the LCP Max disappears. It's quite a bit smaller. If we back it up and use the rear view, and then also the from the top down view, I think you really begin to appreciate the size difference between these two firearms. One is in the pocket carry class, the other is safely in the compact pistol class. Just the nature of things. Not an apples to apples comparison, so don't blow us up in the comments for that, but it is a firearm comparison that people would be curious about, so that's why we're doing it. And for comparison's sake, here's the LCP Max on top of the Security 380, with the Security 380 having the 15 round magazine in. I do not have a 12 round or better LCP Max magazine. To me, those put it beyond the pocketability range, for me in particular, which is why I only have 10 round magazines. But anyway, as you can see with the 15 round magazine, the grip length of the Security 380, in my opinion, is significantly longer, which will give you a close-up of that as well. Besides the size difference of the firearms, with the Ruger Security 380 having a 3.42 inch barrel, compared to the 2.8 inch barrel on the Ruger LCP Max, one question many people will have is, does that better than a half inch of barrel length translate to better velocity in home defense concealed carry personal protection ammunition out of the Security 380 versus the Ruger LCP Max? Well, let's put that to the test now with three what I consider common self-defense personal protection concealed carry ammunitions available in stores in my area. Now we're going to do the Hornady Critical Defense. Hopefully we get some chronograph numbers here. Top right target. $892. 922. 930. 908. Well, those two bullseyes in a row. We did not get a measurement on that one. We must have awed the chronograph with a amazing two-shot group. Let's do one more here. $934. Now we are going to repeat 5 shots. Top left-hand target. This time with the Security 380, which has a slightly longer barrel. Here we go. $899. 905. 989. 972. 920. Quite a bit of variation. And now let's crunch some numbers. Out of the Ruger LCP Max, the Hornady Critical Defense, we had an average velocity of 917 feet per second. The highest velocity is 934 feet per second. Lowest velocity 892 feet per second. The difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 42 feet per second. Standard of deviation is 17.2, and that's across a 5-shot sample size. And now for our Security 380. We have an average velocity of 937 feet per second, highest velocity of 989 feet per second, lowest velocity of 899 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 90 feet per second. Standard of deviation is 41, and that's across our 5-shot sample size. For these two firearms, as far as the Hornady Critical Defense goes, in my opinion, I don't think we see much of a difference. 937 feet per second on average velocity compared to 917 feet per second. 175 foot-pounds of energy versus 168 foot-pounds of energy. That's well within the range of one round to the next, in my opinion. So I'm going to say, as far as the Hornady critical defense ammunition goes, out of the Security 380 and the LCP Max, the difference between velocity appears to be within the difference of one round or the next and is insignificant. You gotta come around. You gotta come around. The people want to see you, Fredericky. They don't want to see your badunkadunker. Is it? Did you hear the Trito or do you smell the Trito, Fredericky? What if I told you there was never a Trito? There's not a Trito. There's no Tritos there, Fredericky. What's right there? Oh, what's that? Don't forget to like and subscribe so Freddy gets his biscuits. Okay, we are going to repeat our test now with some SIG Elite Performance ammunition. This is a 90 grain V-Crown jacketed hollow point 380. And again, we're going to start with the Ruger LCP Max. Shoot at the bottom right hand target. It's going to be the bottom right hand of that 2 set target if we can. I think that's a 6-inch target if we can even hit it. We mostly care about velocity though, so. Oh, and reliability. Velocity and reliability. I feel like accuracy, as long as the ammo groups in the right spot, is more on. Here we go. Let's hope we get some numbers. $861. $942. I think we're just a little low left of the paper, of the black target. 911. $906. $934. Oh no, we're gonna keep that running. Okay, now let's turn to a sequence. Okay, sounds like some ice is melting next to us. We are going to repeat 5 shots. Let me. The bottom left hand, bottom target. Here we go, 5 shots. We are in space of the Doppler. $928. $997. $925. $913. $958. For the Sig Sauer Elite Performance V-Crown 90 grain jacketed hollow point ammunition out of the Ruger LCP Max, we had an average velocity of 911 feet per second, highest velocity 942 feet per second, lowest velocity 861 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 80 feet per second. Our standard of deviation is 31.5. That's across a 5-shot sample size. The same ammunition out of our Ruger Security 380 had an average velocity of 944 feet per second, highest velocity is 997 feet per second, lowest velocity is 913 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 85 feet per second. Standard of deviation is 34. And again, that's a 5-shot sample size. Like all ammo today, after our initial test, we see I'm low left in general with the LCP, compared to pretty well on target with our Security 380. Crunching the numbers, with an average feet per second of 911 versus 944 feet per second, 165 versus 178 foot-pounds of energy. Again, probably the difference between one round or the next, and in my opinion, not really enough to make a difference. Again, not an expert opinion. Let's move on. And now, actually, this episode might be sponsored by Kleenex. Alright, I noticed. Alright, let's hope that. We'll edit that out in post. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to test a third kind of home defense concealed carry personal protection ammo. This time, Barnes TAC XPD defense ammunition. This has a 80 grain TAC XPD projectile, whatever that means. All right, we're going to be shooting at the bottom right hand target, the top 6-inch bullseye on that. 5 shots. Here we go. And again, we mostly care about the reliability and accuracy at this point. Let's get a pocket gun. 975. $963. $898. $978. $998. Interesting observation I would put on this ammo compared to all the other ammo today. That ammo, when you fire it, it smells like 4th of July fireworks. I have no idea. Okay, now we are going to do 5 shots. Security 380, the top target of the bottom left-hand target. Here we go. $978. $997. Acquisition error. $966. 1,025. I'm going to load one more round so we get a 5-shot sample. So far, we have a pretty decent group going out there. Definitely the best unofficial group, we'll say, of the ammo that we have chronographed. Here we go. 5th shot. $998.
I like it.
All right. For the Barnes, 80 grain TAC XDP, which is the lightest of the projectiles we fired here today. We have an average velocity out of the Ruger LCP Max of 962 feet per second. Highest velocity 998 feet per second. Lowest velocity 898 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 100 feet per second. Standard of deviation is 38. And again, that's against a 5-shot sample size. That same ammunition out of our Ruger Security 380 had an average velocity of 993 feet per second. The highest velocity was 1,025 feet per second. Lowest velocity is 966 feet per second. The difference between the highest and lowest velocity was 59 feet per second. Our standard of deviation was 22.4 and a 5-shot sample size. Comparing the numbers, we see out of our Ruger LCP Max, we have an average velocity of 962 feet per second, which translates to 164 foot-pounds of energy. Comparing that to our Ruger Security 380, we have 993 feet per second with 175 foot-pounds of energy. Again, that seems like well within the range of one round to the next, so we're going to call it similar enough. We have reached the conclusion to our video today. With both firearms, we saw 100% reliability and consistent accuracy. For the LCP Max, we did see consistent low left hit on paper. That is on me, not the firearm. I shoot thin-framed single-stack firearms low left naturally. With regular practice, I overcome this, but with lack of regular practice, I lose that. The way I naturally want to hold a very thin firearm like the LCP series does not line up with how those tiny firearms shoot naturally in my hand. That's just me. With the Security 380, we saw with all ammo today, in general, it was just the bee's knees and spot on. I don't think that's by coincidence. Even though we have some variation in bullet weight, we saw almost identical numbers in terms of energy by way of velocity bullet mass combinations. I don't think that's by accident, and that major manufacturers are aiming for a specific benchmark across different bullet weight configurations. That's just a from the gut theory by me. Keep that in mind. Now let's take a moment to get to a point I said at the start we'd get back to. Today we saw for most of our shots with the LCP, I was low left. That's a muscle memory thing contrasted with how shooting gloves slightly change things for me, not a firearm thing. We've seen in the past a few times on this channel now, this LCP Max has been the dark horse in the race and snuck up to win a 380 shooting contest. It is deceptively capable in a practice hand. The strength of the Security 380, on the other hand, is that its size and a much more mild recoil nature make it much more forgivable, especially for less practiced shooters. It's not a 22, but it almost shoots like one, which I find helps build confidence, especially with newer or recoil sensitive shooters. All in all, both firearms have so far proven to be extremely reliable and capable. The LCP series, being in the pocket family of firearms, is naturally going to be the more challenging firearm to use in terms of both recoil control and sight picture. But when kept in the context of intended use case, it is more than capable. The same goes for the Security 380. It's a bigger, better recoil handling brother. Neither make you more Superman than you already are, but with practice and training, they can be excellent home defense, personal protection, concealed carry firearms. So I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.